Welcome back to Take Action News, everybody. David Shuster here, along with Rich Webster and Daniel Marins, one of my favorite parts of the show, because our own Cliff Shuster from We Act Radio is in the house. You can see him over Google Hangout. You can hear him right now. You can always follow him online on Twitter at twitter.com/Cliff Shuster. Cliff, how you doing, my friend? Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, David. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, especially because, you know, Cliff, growing up in Southern Indiana, my baseball team was the Cincinnati Reds. And,
all right, baby.
And Cliff's got the big red hat on right now. Well done. So, Cliff,
I got me up for wearing my Yankees cap here, David. I grew up where you're sitting, so we've switched places, if you will.
Exactly. We've transitioned well. It'll be a little while longer, though, until I can put on a Yankees cap. So I got to ask you a little bit about the president's State of the Union speech regarding guns, an issue that you've been covering and working on for a long time. The president mentioned some of the proposals to ban assault weapons, to get what he called weapons of war off our streets. He noted that police chiefs are asking folks to do this. And here's what the president said in part of his State of the Union speech. Listen.
Each of these proposals deserves a vote in Congress. If you want to vote no, that's your choice. But these proposals deserve a vote. Because in the 2 months since Newtown, more than 1,000 birthdays, graduations, anniversaries have been stolen from our lives by a bullet from a gun.
Cliff Shuster, is it enough for the president just to say, give us a vote, these measures, these people have been victimized, they deserve a vote?
Yeah, look, I understand why some people would say, well, we need more than that. We don't just need a vote. But if you look at the lay of the land right now, if we get a vote, 2/3 of what he's proposing will get through. The anti-gun trafficking law is now being co-sponsored by Republicans. Scott Riegel in the House, I think it's Scott is his first name, Mark Kirk from Illinois, from President Obama's old seat, and it's being supported by as many as 40 Republicans, as often happens in these social issues. All Republicans, mostly in the north, whether it's out west or the northeast, the plains, the northern Midwestern states, Great Lakes states is what I was looking for there, I guess. They really are supporting this. We may get up to 40 votes. In the Senate, it's a similar deal if they don't filibuster. So on that, and then background checks, you've got this huge. You've really actually got an unprecedented amount of support. The vote won't necessarily get us an assault weapons ban or a limit on magazine size, which I think we obviously sorely need. But it pushes the momentum and gets the ball rolling. You pass 2 major gun control measures, and then with newly supportive groups out there right now supporting people who are for gun safety measures, spending the 2014 election. Suddenly the NRA doesn't get to just have their way, and people who are bad on this issue, an issue with background checks that has over 90% behind it, some Republicans will lose for voting against this. I promise you that. And then the whole dynamic changes.
Cliff, we were talking over coffee the other day, and I was asking about why the assault weapons ban is a harder pull for Democrats to get through Congress. Explain why.
The shame of it is that we're at a point now where that's where the guys, the NRA, National Shooting Sports Foundation, all of their clients, let's call them, the real clients, who are the gun manufacturers, they make their money on assault weapons. So that's the market in this country. We in the 1970s, 50% of households owned guns. We're down to 32% now. The number, they're going way down. As the demographics we've talked about, growing Latino population, growing college-educated white population. There's not a big market for guns there. It's these guys out in the rural areas, the older white, core supporters of the NRA, and they need to convince them to buy numerous guns, many guns. And so the more exotic ones, the more militarized ones. That's why we have this whole dangerous anti-government gun culture. It's to sell guns. And so that's a big part of it, is that if some of these guys won't be willing to stand up to the NRA, they kind of feel like, well, the NRA can't, they're going to have to accept it. I'm going to have to do something. And doing the 2 things I mentioned, the stopping trafficking and background checks, are things that don't hurt them as much, in terms of their money making. It's a shame, and I wouldn't rule out the magazine limit yet. There's a lot more yet to come. There's lots of things that I know about going on that there will be a lot of people that will be sorry with if they don't do this, what they might see. Ask Debbie Halverson, who's running right now in a district, in the south side of Chicago, when you just had President Obama bring up Padilla Pendleton, who was killed in this tragic event, who was at the inauguration. Debbie Halverson's already been hit by over $1 million in ads by Mayor Bloomberg's Mayors Against Illegal Guns group, which, to full disclosure, I'm a consultant for. even though I'll say I had nothing to do with those ads, but yeah. So it's not going to be that way. Joe Baca out on the West Coast lost his seat over this. John Barrow's been targeted. Heidi Heitkem's been targeted. They're going to see it's a different world now. And that's important, I think, to show people you should stand up for gun safety for the right reasons, but you can and win your elections, and you can lose by being in the NRA's pocket.